Continuing to cover our breaking news right now. We want to get out to the airport because that's where Marcella Robertson is right now. She is speaking to Senator Mark Warner from Virginia. Good morning to you, Marcella.
Yeah, good morning to you, Wisdom. Again, you said it there, Virginia Senator Mark Warner joining us live now. We appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. Just want to get your initial reaction, just an incredible tragedy that we're dealing with here.
Absolutely, Marcella. First of all, obviously condolences to all the families who I know have spent the last 12 to 14 hours trying to find out what's happened to their loved ones. And obviously, as we've moved into recovery mode, it's an indication there's probably no survivors. Those of us in the DMV know we got different states, the district, lots of federal jurisdictions. When a tragedy like this happens, everybody responds. It was remarkable. We had first responders from all across the region, as high as even Baltimore County came. And they run towards that kind of danger into these icy waters. And I happened to be coming from the district to my home in Old Town. So we were driving by the airport almost when this happened. And while I didn't see the crash, I was saying I've never seen this many red lights racing. And it was about that point, once I was past the airport, headed to Old Town, that I became aware there was been this crash.
And I mean, you say when you saw those lights, we typically don't see things of this nature, of, really gives you a sense of the gravity of all of this. I mean, what do you make of this really happening in our backyard?
Well, we could see it both on the Virginia side and the Maryland side. And what I think you saw, and then the chief made mention this morning, everybody dropped everything. Police, EMS, fire, they all got here as quickly as possible. And that included also federal resources. We had people going into a very cold Potomac River to go through the recovery mode. Again, I don't think we ever give enough appreciation to those first responders.
This is such a difficult time. I know there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered. What do you say to the family members who are waiting for their loved ones to be recovered? I mean, how do you even wrap your mind around that?
I think what you say is, we're going to find out what happened. These victims deserve that. The families deserve that. But the notion of jumping to some conclusion, less than 12 hours after this tragedy occurred, there'll be a time for that kind of discussion.
And to kind of clarify, I know I asked you about your concerns with the traffic here, busy runways, and I know you said that there will be a time for that later. Can we expect to hear an update from that?
Tim Kaine and I, the whole Virginia delegation, we know how busy National is. We know the level of helicopter traffic, just because we're the nation's capital, that has to be part of the airspace. We expressed those concerns. We're concerned we never got a full vote on that, although I quickly add those new slots or those new flights have not been added yet. But again, there'll be a time for that kind of discussion, but it's obviously not right now.
I want to ask you, too, because we heard the Secretary of Transportation say he believes that this was 100% preventable. Your reaction to that?
I don't have any idea how, when we don't have the facts, the NTSB hasn't done their investigation, that people can make those claims. Obviously, I've been a governor, a senator. I've been in this stuff for 25 years. I've never had to come to this this doesn't happen very often. Our airspaces are statistically the safest in the world. That doesn't mean much if you're getting the kind of worst news you could ever imagine sometime over these last 12 hours. I just hope that we would all hold off on causation and whether it could be avoided or not. Obviously, something happened here that wasn't appropriate, but let's wait for a minute.
And before we let you go, I do want to ask you too, we don't have a lot of the answers, right? And you have the airport that is getting ready to open back up in just about 3 hours. You have passengers all across the country who are getting ready to go on airplanes, a lot of anxiety, I would imagine. What do you say to those travelers and to reassure them that it is safe?
I would say that we have always had the safest airspace in the world. I know the Airports Authority, the FAA, they're not going to reopen this airport at 11 o'clock this morning. And less than that, we are safe. Again, I want to give a particular shout out as well for the air traffic controllers who have a remarkable record of directing this traffic on a regular basis. They're federal employees. So I have great assurance, but I can completely understand that kind of tension or concern coming after this tragedy.
We really appreciate your time, and I know a lot of the focus right now will be on the family members, first responders who have a difficult task ahead of them. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Appreciate it. There you guys, again, if you're just tuning in, that was Virginia Senator Mark Warner talking about, everything from the first responders to the scope of this tragedy that we're dealing with. Again, we just got an update from officials about an hour ago. We now know that a total of 28 bodies have been recovered out of the Potomac River so far, 27 passengers from that American Airlines flight and 1 soldier from that military helicopter. Still a lot of, unanswered questions here. The airport will reopen this morning here at Reagan National at 11 o'clock this morning, and officials are, telling passengers that it is safe. They would not reopen if it were not. And of course, just the NTSB now taking over this investigation. Unfortunately, this has changed from a rescue mission to a recovery mission with still many more passengers in the water. And the first responders have just such a difficult task ahead of them, both physically and mentally. Guys, back to you.
All right, Marcella Robertson reporting. Thank you very much.